Good morning, everyone. I'm running a couple of minutes behind and I apologize for that. I realized that I didn't have one of my needed items on my table, so I had to run get it. And then I realized I didn't have another one. And so now I think that I am ready to go. Today, I'm going to talk to you about and show you the beautiful Unbounded Beauty Suite. And I'm on my table right this minute. I have some cards made with that. We're going to talk about those. But before we do that, I just want to say this is Lori, and I am a demonstrator in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm excited to be here today to show you the cards. Actually, these cards were actually the cards that I used for my, let me move get rid of some shadows here. I had a retreat, one-day retreat on Saturday with my friend Sarah, and we used this suite for our projects, for our make and takes, and I think that they're great actually representation of the new in colors. So I'm going to take some time and show you 3 of those. Actually, sorry, there were 6. I forgot to put one out here. 6 make and takes from my event on Saturday, and if you're local to St. Louis, we'd love to have you at the next one. Which I haven't gotten the date for. We're waiting on the school to reply. But if you're not local and you would be interested in a retreat in a box to go, and you live in Maine or you live in Minnesota or you live in California and you would like to take part in a retreat, let me know, and we can get that arranged, and I can offer that as a possibility. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the Unbounded Beauty Suite today. And I wanted to tell you also, just to remind you about my new reward system. If you spend $50 in a month, you will receive a free Funfold class. I mentioned that last week. I want to make sure I mentioned that again because that's going to start. It starts immediately. So if you've already placed a $50 order this month, you're awesome. And you will receive your invite for that at the end of the month. If you haven't placed a $50 order yet this month, there is still time. And that class will be held in July. I'm still looking at my July calendar, but each month I will hold a Funfold class. I will show one Funfold. For example, this is not the one that we're doing, but a Funfold. And I will give you 3 different examples of the Funfold. And you'll get that packet in the mail. So let's get started on today's projects. Or let me show you the suite. Actually, this suite is probably my favorite in the new catalog, and it's on pages 52 and 53 in the new catalog. It's the Unbounded Beauty suite. You can see the samples there, and then on the next page is all the stuff that goes with it. There's designer series paper, which is, there's not really a pattern that I don't like. Sometimes there's patterns and I think, oh, I would never use that. I've used all of these patterns. They're great. There's glimmer paper in all 5 new in colors. And there's actually 2 bundles, the Flowers of Beauty bundle and the Unbounded Love bundle. The Flowers of Beauty is the flowers with the backgrounds, and then the Unbounded Love is many sentiments, which have really nice words, and also the dies that cut those out. The one thing I will note right now is those dies bundles are on sale and extra 10% off. So bundles are typically 10% off. So this bundle is normally $54.75. Right now, I believe it is $49. I think it's either $48 or $49. And then the Unbounded Love one, they're both the same price. So they're both an additional, they're $54.75. I think they did not go by the pennies. I believe it's either $48 or $49. I would have to look again. So those are on extra 10% off. So now is a perfect time to get those. The one thing about the suite, I am switching out the gems today. I'm going to use the shimmer gems instead of the resin dots, but those are also great in color embellishments. So I'm going to start with just a simple birthday card, and this is one of the new in colors, Pretty in Pink. And go ahead and fold that in half. My nails are still kind of almost the same color. I do love when my nails match my projects, and especially when it's not on purpose, which actually it never is. Let me get my card here so I can see it. All right, we're gonna mix the Pretty in Pink and the Summer Splash. We're gonna use the Pretty in Pink piece of paper and then this piece of the Summer Splash. It doesn't have a huge bold pattern to it. We're just gonna use that as an accent color. We're going to make our own background. We're gonna use this stamp from the stamp set, and we're gonna stamp Pretty in Pink flowers over the one of our white panels that we have here. Safety first. I always have 2 pieces of a sentiment piece cut, just so if I mess it up, then you don't have to wait on me to redo it. All right, I'm just gonna stamp these flowers randomly because we're gonna cover up part of it. And if you wanna stamp off when you do this, that's okay too. The color is going to dry a little lighter, so it won't be quite so dark. We're just gonna randomly stamp flowers, especially around the edges, because that's where the pattern will be seen, because we're gonna cover up that center section. Okay, actually, while I've got my stamp out, let's go ahead. That's the stamping for the front. Set that aside, let it dry for a minute. Then I'm gonna take my inside panel and I'm going to put my sentiment there. If I can find it here on my table. Oh, I think I didn't bring it over. So we won't put a sentiment on the inside. My original sample, we used one of the stamps and it says, "May all your wishes come true." And I truly thought that stamp was right here on my table, but it's not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and instead of the sentiment, I'm just gonna put some flowers on a couple of the corners, just so there's a little decoration on the inside as well. All right, my sample actually has Pretty in Pink ink for the words. I'm gonna switch it out and I'm actually gonna do Summer Splash. I'm gonna see if there's a difference. See if I like one better than the other, and at the end you can vote if you'd like. So let's stamp our happy birthday and Summer Splash right here on our die cut piece. And then we can assemble our card. So we'll start with this piece on the inside. Just use our regular stamp and seal for that. We'll get that on the inside. Sometimes it's nice to decorate that extra panel that's on the inside. Give it a little bit of character. All right, so we have this piece on the front. I'm gonna go ahead, I should show you the paper too. This paper is my favorite. The ladies who were at our retreat on Saturday were big fans as well. All right, so I'm just gonna put that on there, and cattywampus is one of my favorite directions. I'm gonna put that on there, cattywampus. And then we're gonna put the other piece that I have to find. It's the back piece. Put the adhesive there. Trying to figure out why my camera is a little bit off today. I apologize. I'm too far towards me. Hopefully that's better. If you can't see that, let me know. All right, and I'm going to do this one a little different, cattywampus. All right, now I'm going to use the Summer Splash ribbon to tie just around here. I'm going to tie it in a knot. Wish me luck. I'm going to just tie it right around there. I'm going to tie a knot. Actually, let's tie a bow on this one. I've got enough on the end here to make an actual bow. Let's do that. I've still got it attached to my roll of ribbons, so love out my bows. Look at that. I actually did it today. Semi-decent. And then I'm going to cut that. trim the ends. All right, so we have our panel. We have the ribbon tied around. We're gonna put on our sentiment. Actually, let's go ahead and attach this to our card. Let's go ahead and use dimensionals so that the ribbon doesn't make it fall off since it's thick. All right, so we'll put some dimensionals on the corners. We're gonna use almost all 5 in colors today. If I was going to show you all my cards from Saturday, we would be using all of them, but I only have time to show you probably 3. All right, I can't believe that it is already June. It's almost Father's Day. Does anyone have any Father's Day exciting plans? We don't. We may go to Illinois to my mom's for my nephew's birthday, but other than that, don't have anything on our agenda. We're pretty casual about holidays over here. We've had company in our house every day since last Tuesday. We had out-of-town company on Tuesday. Our son they spent the night as they were traveling through on their way home. Our son and daughter-in-law were home on Wednesday, and then they were here until Sunday. Sunday afternoon, we hosted my husband's family for barbecue because we'll be out of town next week. And then yesterday, our former neighbors came over for dinner, which was super exciting. And tonight, I am hosting my Bunko group. And I'm actually retiring from Bunko, so it's my very last Bunko night. So, and tomorrow I literally might take a long nap. That's my plan. All right, I have the shimmer gems in all 5 colors. I'm gonna go ahead, I think I'm gonna use Summer Splash. This one here is the pretty in pink. I put the pink gems on there, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the Summer Splash gems on this one. Mix it up just a little bit. Let's see. Let's put these out here. Wherever you'd like those. All right, so we have my original sample was the pretty in pink. And this has been in and out of a clear envelope several times. It was on the table, so I apologize that my ribbon there is a little wonky. And then we have the Summer Splash ink, and I think I'm gonna vote for the Summer Splash. I think the Summer Splash adds a little bit of pop to that color. Okay, card number 1. Let's move on. Card number 2 is a fun fold, and it is a gift card holder. And so we have our card base, and then we're gonna open that up so that we have kind of a trifold. Why is my thing so close today? I apologize for making you dizzy right now. Let's get that up just a little bit. There we go, that's a little better. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. I thought I had it in place and now I didn't. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna make a gift card holder. It looks complicated. It is not. We're going to use a thick white card base, which is just a quarter sheet. It's just a quarter sheet of cardstock. And then we're going to put on the Petunia Pop layer, which is just like a mat. We can go ahead and assemble that. The other part of the card will assemble before we put it on the card. So this piece will be taken care of. There we go. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to actually use a different pattern of paper for this one, just so you can see a different pattern. So we're going to use another thick white piece. I have one that's already scored, but it's a 4 1/4 by 9 3/4 piece of cardstock. And I have scored it at 3 1/4. And if you haven't scored with your trimmer, some ladies have trouble with the scoring. So let's do that. So we're gonna score it at 3 1/4, just that small line after the 3. And the scoring blade is the lighter blade. And I always tell people at my classes that cutting blade is a deeper shade. It cuts deeper. The lighter shade just makes a line. It doesn't cut. So we're gonna get the cutting blade out of our way. We're gonna go ahead and score the cardstock at 3 1/4. And then we're gonna move it over and we're gonna score it at 6 1/2, which there's the 6, there's the half. Score it at 6 1/2. So we have 3 equal sections on our piece. And I've cut a 4-inch strip of the Designer Series paper, and I need a 3-inch piece for the front. And now we need the cutting blade, so that's the darker one. And then I need a 2-inch strip. So from one long 12-inch strip, a 4-inch strip that's 12 inches long, we could make 2 cards with this one. All right, so we have our 2 pieces that we need. So instead of the darker pink, we're actually going to use the Summer Splash and the Petunia Pop piece. Okay, so for the card part, we're gonna fold it like a Z. One is a mountain, one is a valley, so it looks like a Z or an N if you hold it like this. And so on the front piece, we're going to glue down the bigger piece of Designer Series paper. And you can use your liquid glue or you can use your Stampin' Seal, whichever you prefer. Make sure your pattern is going the right way. Ask me how I know that. Make sure you check. Okay, so that goes on the front. And then the other piece will be down here. This particular piece is going to hold your gift card. If you have a gift card, it's going to hold it. But we want to make sure that that holds tight. So to do that, I'm going to flip it over. And I have tear and tape adhesive out here today. We don't use this too often, but if it is the super duper adhesive, it comes in a roll that is 27 yards long, actually. And it's on a roll, and literally it looks like tape, and you tear it. And if you've been stamping for a while, you might remember those red rolls of really sticky tear and tape. This one actually, you had to have scissors. This one, you can just rip it just like that. Make sure I've got the bottom. All right, so we're just gonna put that right at the edge. Like literally right at the top edge. Well, actually that is the bottom edge, but since I flipped it like that, it's the top. And we're going to put a mini dimensional right at the top here, so that there's gives a little bit of a space for your gift card to hold in. And then if you need a little spot to get a hold of the gift card, we're going to use the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch right in the middle and just center it the best you can. There's no right or wrong on how far down it needs to go. Oop, I moved it. And just take that piece out. And it just leaves a little notch that will make it easier to get a hold of your gift card and pull it out. So let's attach that. All right, got my tear and tape. So make sure you get your piece where you want it, because the tear and tape will not move. It will not be very forgiving. So we're gonna make sure that we get that in the right spot. I had a lady on Saturday who, she might have put it in the wrong place on the wrong side. So we had to get her a new piece of paper. All right, so we put the bottom down and then the dimensionals. So that way, and I don't have a credit card handy, but I can show you if you have a small piece, it'll just slide right in there. And that leaves a little bit of a gap right at the top of that to leave space for your credit card. for your gift card, not a credit card, but if you want to give them a credit card, that'd be great, or a gift, yeah, a credit card. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the tear and tape to attach this back, just because that is the part that's opening. And so it's going to hold it just a little bit tighter. It's not necessary if you don't have any tear and tape. Just use the strongest adhesive that you have. I'm just going to do the top and the bottom. I got it over just a little far. And then just peel the backing off. Makes it really easy. Once you get a hold of it, it just tears right off there. Right. It is only in the low 80s here yesterday and today, and it looks so nice outside. We have a swimming pool, and my husband has the solar cover on it, and he told me it was so warm, and he said, come feel this. And I went out there the other day, and I put my toes in, and I was like, no. But it is supposed to be in the 90s coming up. And so I think it's going to be hot enough. I think it's going to be plenty warm. Okay, so here's our card. I was just thinking about flowers. I had to water my flowers this morning. And I'm just, yeah, it's going to be swimming weather. So maybe instead of taking a nap tomorrow, maybe I'll just float in the pool all day. Or not. We'll see how that works out for me. All right, so we have our card. Now I'm going to take... let's use the Petunia Pop ribbon. I'm just going to wrap it around this piece. It won't show necessarily because you're not going to be looking at that side. But I'm going to tie it. This one I am going to tie in a knot, or I'm going to try to anyway, because I don't want it to be too thick. Tie it just in a knot, which should be easier for me, right? Shouldn't be a bow. I can get a hold of the right piece. There we go. All right, so we have our knot. I would have preferred to have that a little closer to the end so I didn't waste so much, but we are not retying that puppy. Okay, now all I need is my sentiment piece. I'm gonna stamp that in the Petunia Pop ink, and I'm gonna go ahead and do Happy Birthday again. We already did a Happy Birthday on this other one. Wipe it off really quick on my Stampin' Chamois. All right. So we have our Petunia Pop. Petunia Pop, I think, might be my, I don't know. Summer Splash and Petunia Pop are both my favorite new in colors. If you're watching and you have a favorite in color, what is it? Which one is your favorite? There we go. Now we got our Happy Birthday. And we will attach that with dimensionals also on the front of our card. I have some edge pieces cut here, so I'm gonna just use those. I'm excited. There's only 4 more days. If you are, if you like online classes, I have 4 more days to order for my Friendship Collaborative with my friend Sue up in Victoria, British Columbia. We have a class, it's a bundle class. Since the bundles are fairly new, we have a bundle class using the Country Flowers or the Labeled with Love bundles, and we are excited. We're going to have there will be a Facebook group. You'll receive emailed tutorials. You'll be able to access the Facebook group, and all you have to do is order either of the bundles. If you order both bundles, you'll receive a free pack of the gray and smoky slate gems, and you can craft along with us. We'll be live in that group on Saturday the 29th, but you don't necessarily have to watch that day. The videos will be available, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully you can join us. If you're in Canada, you would order your products through Sue. If you already have those bundles, we do have an alternate ordering option. So you could, if you're a demonstrator, or if you already have those bundles, So that way you don't miss out on our class. The next one probably won't be a bundle, but since the catalog is new, we went ahead and did it as a bundle class. All right, we have our gift card holder. All we need now are the gems. I'm going to use some Petunia Pop, a little bit on the front, and then we'll be all blinged up and we can show our last card. So there's a lot going on in my little Stampin' Up! World here. So hopefully you'll come along for the ride and we can do some more crafting together. Okay, so there's our two options. It's exactly the same card. Let me lay that down. Exactly the same card, and just a different designer series paper pattern. It's the same package of paper. Okay, now we're gonna dial it back and we're gonna make a sympathy card. Those are not fun to make. They're always my least favorite, and I'm about to tell on myself for something else. So be prepared for that. Little Loriism. Okay, we have a thick white card base. And you know what? I did not cut my designer series paper for this piece. So let's do that really quick. I have a package right here. Oops. Oh gosh. Normally I like to have all of that done so you don't have to wait on me to do this. But for this one, that didn't happen. So for a panel on the front, this one doesn't really have a pattern. I'm gonna do 4 inches. And then to make it just a panel for the front, I do 5 1/4 going the other way. So 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. Now we got it. Okay. So we want to use this piece because that's what I've cut the other things to match. So we're going to go ahead, put that piece on our front. Again, using your Stampin' Seal or your liquid adhesive, doesn't matter. And those little stems and leaves on that paper go both directions, so there's no right or wrong. You can do that whichever direction. There's no right or wrong. All right, then I have a piece of Summer Splash. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on our white panel. We're gonna get this as much done before and assembled before we get to the decoration on the top. I apologize, there's an ambulance driving by my house right now. We live on a busy road. We actually live on a 4-lane road, which is a major route to one of the biggest hospitals here in St. Louis. So we always know when there's a rookie driver because they're supposed to turn off the sirens at 8 o'clock at night, but sometimes we'll lay in bed at 10 and we hear the sirens and we'll always be like, rookie driver. So in the daytime I kind of shut it out and I don't even notice. All right, we're gonna stamp with Sympathy on our sentiment piece. And do that with the Summer Splash ink. And I'm gonna stamp that to the right hand side and I'll show you why. Ink dries, it's kind of splotchy at first and then it dries a little nicer. All right, and actually I didn't put anything on the inside, but I do have my heart goes out to you, so let's go ahead and stamp that on the inside before we go any further. There we go. Sometimes I like to put things on the inside and sometimes I just like to let people write what they want to write because that's how they like to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll put this piece onto our card front using dimensionals. I was trying to cut paper today because I had some extras from my class on Saturday, and we always provide the card stock and have some of the die cuts ready, and they're good to go. And then each person got a whole package of this designer series paper that matches the suite. And they cut their own paper. And so we have tutorials and we have those on the table and tell them to cut their designer series paper at, 4 by 5 1/4. And I started to cut my extra pieces of paper for today. And I was like, I don't have the directions. So I was kind of winging it a little bit. So hopefully I've got those correct. I know the 4 by 5 1/4 is correct, but I was a little, I think, oh, my ladies are a little bit spoiled. They get to have all the directions ready for them, and I had to figure it out on my own. Okay, now I want to show you, I have die cut, I call them weeds. They're not weeds, they're stems that have some florally pattern to them. I put adhesive sheet on the back, and this white one you can't really see so much, but you can see it a little more on this. If you haven't used the adhesive sheets, they go on the back of your paper, whatever you want to die cut, and then you run your die cut through on the front side, and then it makes it like a sticker. So when I peel this off, we will have a sticker. I actually die cut this piece from a different pattern in your series paper. It's actually the same pattern that I used on this first card. It's this piece right here that I used there. And so we're just gonna peel off this backing. Actually, we're gonna start with the white one. The other one I used 2 pieces. You just peel it off like this. And a lot of times the little pieces will come out with it. Sometimes they don't. And if they don't, you just take your pick tool and you poke them out. Or the end of your pencil or the end of your scissors or whatever you have handy to get those extra sticky pieces out. This one's gonna make a liar out of me, of course. Because that's how things work around here. It's all good until somebody's watching. Okay, let's try this again. So we'll lift off. We may have to poke them out a little bit afterwards, and that peels off, and it leaves us, this part is sticky. It's a sticker. But I do want to poke out, there's a couple of extra pieces. Sometimes it's a little bit tedious, but a lot of times they just pull right off and come out. But you don't want those sticking on the back because then you'll be all lumpy. I'm gonna say no to lumps. Could be my motto, just say no to lumps. I'm making this look way harder than it really is, and it's par for my course, I guess. Okay. Oh, one more. All right, now I have all of my pieces poked out, and I'm just going to attach that right about there. The bottom part doesn't necessarily matter because that's going to go underneath our sentiment. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the other piece, and see, this one's pulling out the whole piece. You can see the green on the front just pulls right off. I used 2 strips for this one, so they're kind of in separate pieces. Whoop. The whole part doesn't have to be covered. We just wanted it to stick onto the front of our card. Saves a little bit on our adhesive sheet. All right, all the pieces there, and then just layer this one over the top of the other one. And because it has a little bit of a pattern to it, it shows that texture and it doesn't hide. Okay, now let's go ahead and attach our sentiment. Put dimensionals on that so that it's up above these 2 layers right here. Now I have little pieces stuck all over me. Okay, I stamped this on the right-hand side so that we could put a bow. And I thought, okay, this morning I'm gonna tie a bow. I get my bow ready, I pull it out, and then I realized as I started to put on, and maybe you can see that I tied my bow in Shy Shamrock, not in Summer Splash. So I was so proud of myself. I had a bow, it was pretty good. It's like sweet. And then I realized it was the wrong color. So now I have a perfectly made Shy Shamrock bow for a different project. But when they are together, they are pretty darn close. They look so close. And my camera is making it look different, but it honestly looks so close. So if you have those side by side, if you have both of those colors on your with ribbon or the ink pads, just make very certain that you have the right color. We're just going to attach this bow with a glue dot right on the back. But yeah, I think that's probably what happens when you get a little cocky and you think, oh, I made a good bow, because it didn't work out so well for me. Okay, I'm going to attach that just so that the tail end of that bow is up there. If you need to, just put a little extra glue dot underneath the bow so that the tail will stay in place. Trim that. And then we'll add some gems to this one as well. Just make sure you get the right ones. Again, we're using the Summer Splash. And there. Whoop. There we go. All right, so our cards today, I did use Summer Splash twice. I should have used a different one. But our cards today are, we use the Pretty in Pink, we use the Summer Splash, we use the Petunia Pop, and then the other cards that I made on Saturday are these. I had kind of a fun fold with this one, and this is the Peach Pie mixed with Calypso Coral. We used this paper, and we used Berry Burst with that, along with the Petunia Pop. And the last one is the Shy Shamrock, and we actually copied this one pretty much almost out of the catalog. So we used that same die cut stem, and there's a die cut that cuts all the flowers, and that uses the word hope, and we stamped the inside with the flower pieces that would go on the stem as believing in a brighter tomorrow. So that was our 6 cards from our event on Saturday. So that was fun. And then for today, if you spend $35, you'll get the card kits. I'll send you all the pieces. I'll include the die cuts. All you will need is the ink and the stamp set, or a different stamp set. And if you spend $50 in my online store, you will get an invite to my exclusive Fun Fold class. So have a great day. I hope to see you all back next week. I don't know yet what I'm going to do next week, but I will let you know. And if you have any questions, be sure to come.